Pittsburgh's been turning heads in recent years thanks to a rising tide of innovative entrepreneurs, helped in part by decades of investment in incubators and accelerators that nurture startups until they're ready to attract venture capital and other strategic investment. So why can't a similar strategy help to revitalize smaller communities across our region too? Well, that's the question city leaders asked and then answered for themselves in Hermitage, Mercer County. The city of Hermitage built its very own business incubator, the eCenter at LindenPointe, a new business park at a former airport site. When we visited a few weeks ago, entrepreneurs were practicing their pitches and getting tips from mentors and investors.
The other thing I'd recommend is on your advisory board, I think you've got some awesome advisors. But I think what would really be helpful is to find someone with medical device experience.
And across the street at the E-Academy, high school students were creating business ideas of their own. It's part of an entrepreneurship program aimed at encouraging young people to consider starting businesses.
The UN website, and they have a list of the top 6 or 17, top 17 problems in the world, and one of them is sustainable energy. So we saw that and we thought, wow, we could really do something with that.
The eCenter is already talking about bringing its student entrepreneur program to Pittsburgh. Ketaki Desai is executive director of LindenPointe Development Corporation. And Don Morrison is chairman of Deal Flow for Blue Tree Allied Angels and chair of the Development Corporation. And welcome. Good to have you both here.
Thank you. We're very excited to be here.
Yeah, well, kind of exciting to see a smaller community like Hermitage emulating what's been going on in the region's urban core. Oh, why there? Why now?
Well, so Gary Gula, who's the assistant city manager of Hermitage, and Gary Hingston, who is the city manager, both had this idea that if we build something, maybe there will be people and startups that will come. Our region has seen a lot of people leave, and until you actually created something that would support people and make them feel encouraged to stay back, people wouldn't stay. And so that's how they came up with the idea of building an incubator. Except when it came to running it, they said, well, we can manage the facility, but we will actually appoint a LindenPointe Development Corporation, which Don is the president of, to run the incubator.
Okay, and then you guys are able to borrow from a lot of the lessons learned in Pittsburgh, I would assume, right, Don?
When it started out, I was asked to be on the board because of my connections here in the Pittsburgh startup community. I've been involved with Blue Tree for about 6 years now and do a lot of volunteer work at Alpha Lab and Alpha Lab Gear, 2 of our premier accelerators. And because of my ties here, they invited me up to basically show them the ropes and the innovation network, and it's been a fun ride.
So you have space for these fledgling companies to operate, but then also support for them available as well?
Absolutely. So it's a 16,000 square foot facility. We have suites that are 1,000 square feet or 500 square feet, and our rent is very subsidized, especially if you compare it to the city. The great thing is we started off as an incubator, so we have companies that came in through an application process and they pay us for facility space, Wi-Fi, and programming. But then last year we also started an accelerator program. It was a pilot, and we selected 6 companies to be part of this accelerator program, and they were very similar to Alpha Lab Gear, but not all companies got seed funding. They did get access to a completely new curriculum that we built from scratch, and access to mentors, and access to very expert speakers that came in for the 20 weeks that they were part of the accelerator.
Even going younger, right? Because there's a school program right across the street.
It's one of the coolest things. I'm involved with the Entrepreneurship Academy. Gary Gula, again, was his vision based on, I believe, a pilot program in Massachusetts. Right. And the idea is to bring in select high school seniors. I think we have 12 local high schools in Mercer County. The students are given a Myers-Briggs personality assessment and then matched based on complementary personalities. Each team is given they have to come up with a project, and by the end of their senior year they have a working prototype, and we do a pitch competition, which we were going to call Shark Tank. but
I think that may have been taken, but yeah.
Yes, well, the kids were intimidated by that, so somebody came up with the idea of calling it dolphin tank, and the kids were fine with that. So.
Very cool. The idea behind all of this, the hope is that you get these small businesses started there in Hermitage, and at least some percentage of them will stay and grow there?
That's correct. We want them to feel like they have support, and I think that's what we hear from our entrepreneurs. One, that a lot of them felt like, well, we had no idea this was here. Two, that this is, we've managed to get people from Pittsburgh, from Erie, from Cleveland as mentors and guides and coaches for our entrepreneurs. And so for them to see the involvement of the greater community and to see them come in, we had Rich Lunak as our keynote speaker from Innovation Works, right? Yeah. And he came up as the keynote for our demo day for our accelerator program.
Wow.
And then we had Brian Slavin, who's the regional director from Ben Franklin in Erie. So we're really trying to, build that corridor of innovation, and our entrepreneurs see that, and they feel like, well, this is, we're close enough to all these big cities, and we have all the support right here.
So why not do it there? Only a few seconds left, Don, but I wonder, you're in the investment business with Blue Tree. Are you finding companies with real promise coming through this process?
Absolutely. I see a lot of pitches, and the first dolphin tank we conducted, I was expecting to see the kids looking down at their shoes, and every other word would be or ah. And these kids were amazing. They were, here's my company, and they were just incredible. Virtually everyone we've asked to help come in and coach or mentor has said yes, and everyone just comes away so impressed with the students and how amazing they are. We've had our friends from Google here in Pittsburgh. We've had friends from Tesla come up. The chief sustainability officer for Microsoft on a Skype with our students. So they're getting exposed in rural Pennsylvania to the best and brightest innovative minds in the country.
Really exciting. If people want to find out more about it, and you got a big startup weekend coming up, right?
Yes. March 2nd to 4th. This will be our second startup weekend. And if you want to know more, because we have people from Pittsburgh to Erie to Cleveland, go to eCenter, LindenPointe.com, or send me an email. I'm Desai at LindenPointe.com.
All right, Ketaki Desai, Don Morrison from the eCenter at LindenPointe in Hermitage. Congratulations. Continued success.
Thanks, Bill.
Next up, they put the research and development into R&D. Why the RAND Corporation has been deepening its roots in our region. Stay with us.